raised is the same question I'm raising now. Doesn't matter whether you want to be political leader. I want to get married. Am I clear why I'm getting married? Why do I want a family? Because if I'm not very clear why I want to get married, what will be the problem? I will choose the wrong partner. Then difficulty will start. If I don't know why I'm having children, because everybody else had children, my father had children, uncle had children, cousins had, I also had children, then I don't know what to do with my children. I'll put them in front of a TV, I will give them a handphone and keep them busy, or I will keep sending them for tuition, because I don't know why I started with that. So the why is the first part, the vision. The values is the behaviors that I will demonstrate in achieving this. Achieving any objective, I can have a shortcut, I can have a long cut, I can have an effective cut. So these are the two or the things that I would like to share with you. Does that make sense? Am I on the right place or am I in the going to? Okay. So therefore, some of the objectives I wanted to have today. So today this session is not about any political systems, etc. It's about me, the leader. There is often this debate. Does the system create a leader or does the leader create a system? Now, a friend that day was asking me, is leadership nurtured or is leadership born? That's one aspect of it. But having worked with organizations in different contexts, the question is, does the system determine the person or the leader determines the system? Any thoughts on that? Anybody?
I think it goes both ways. I think it goes both ways. I don't think so you can have I think you can have the system determine the leader as well and the leader determine the system as well. So I don't think so it's like one of the either.
Oh, thank you. Anybody disagree with him? Okay, then let me disagree with him. Because I'm not actually disagreeing because what he's saying is perfectly makes sense. But my observation, and of course it's a very biased observation, I will tell you that. To me, it's that one person that can make a significant impact on any system. There was only one Nelson Mandela, one Mahatma Gandhi, one Lincoln. If you look in the history, if you look at religious leaders, there was one Buddha, whether you follow or not, but leaders. There was one Christ, leader. They never wrote books, they never wrote manuals, they did not produce Instagram content, they did not have Facebook. But today, thousands of years later, people are following or trying to follow whatever they had in mind. So you can see the impact, the possible impact. So creating leaders by wholesale, we train 100,000, 10,000, 5,000, that's okay. But to make significant impact, we just need 1, 2, 5 people. Each country, we only need a few. So the place that I come from, I sincerely believe that a leader who has a strong conviction, has a strong vision, strong passion can make that significant difference. The question would be, do I have a conviction? Do I have that passion? How do we do that? Okay. Now, what I'd like to do is stop talking for a little while. I'm going to ask a few questions. And what I'd like you to do, with the partner, somebody sitting next to you, in 2s or 3s, whatever is easy, have a small 1 minute, 2 minute conversation about the question that I've asked. Whatever it is, there's again no right answer, no wrong answer.
Can I just
Yes.
touch upon that because so systems to leadership, when I mentioned that, for example, like I've read Nelson Mandela's biography and prior to him becoming a leader or him doing his things, wasn't he in a system that made him into the person that you wanted to take action against that.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so I won't answer that question because I don't have the answer. But today my focus is not on the system. We have limited amount of time. So I want to look at the ingredients that goes into making me the person. What could those ingredients be in the limited time that we have? Okay. So if you will excuse me. Yes, I am.
Having respected my colleagues or friends' opinion, I think that leaders are born as from his philosophy or from his beliefs. The system may run as it is because it has been going on years and centuries and maybe more time. But regarding the same system, there will be a leader. It changes the thing of maybe the radicalist or maybe the Democrat or any kind of philosophy that of leader here. He will drive the mass of the existing system to the new thing. So we can have a different example that we are looking these days. I guess it's like open sector that who is going to change what and who is doing what in our present scenario. So I guess the system doesn't change the or make the leader, but leader will the existing system will try to engrave or engross the thinking or philosophy and he will change the system to the new things.
So again, thank you. So this can be a very long discussion and debate, but for this morning limited time that I had with you, if I had a torch and I shine it upon you, you are in the light. I can see everything about you. But will that help me to become a better person? Yes or no? Maybe, maybe not. But if I turn that light and it shines on me, and I put myself under a microscope and study myself very carefully, will that create more significant change in me or the society? I don't know. But that's what I want to spend my time on this morning, if you will allow me. So the focus is on me and myself, not the system for today. Okay? So will that be okay with all of you? It's very difficult sometimes because we are not busy or used to looking at ourselves, but we are not here to judge or discuss. So I'm going to throw a few questions now. That means you will have time to interact and talk to each other. Is that okay? So not very, we don't have too much time, one minute, one minute, okay? So what I could do is, you can, somebody sitting next to you in pairs, whoever is there, easy, without moving and creating too much disruption. So my question to you is, within 1 minute, share with your partner next to you, what does this word, excellence, you heard of the word excellence? Just what does this word excellence mean to you? That's all. 1 minute, have a conversation, close. Please start, manage the time. Whoever is sitting next to you, all be busy, nobody sitting idle. If you don't have 2, then 3 is fine, no problem. Come, please. Okay, thank you. Doesn't matter whether they got an answer or not. We are just starting conversation. So we just debate, discuss what does excellence mean. Now please share with the same friend or another friend, doesn't matter. What does the word leadership mean to you? 1 minute. Okay, thank you, thank you. So the next quick question, what does this word followership mean to you? Quick 1 minute. Followership. Okay, thank you. So next question, although I touched on it, what does this word vision mean to you? To you, I don't need academic, just whatever it means to you. Please share with your friend, colleague sitting next to you. Okay, thank you. The next question to reflect on, what does this word values mean to you? Okay, maybe not enough time, but it's okay. Next thought is, what are some of the qualities that make a good leader? Please share that. What have you observed in your own? What are some of the qualities of a good leader? Okay. Next one is, what are some of the qualities of a bad leader? Do we look forward to developing the human potential with that same intensity? Perhaps not. But he believes that the real edge, the real difference will come if we give that human potential development the same intensity and the same enthusiasm that we give our technological development. So, this is very basic and simple, something I learned very early in my early career. On the left is a bubble called knowing. So today there is no shortage of knowledge. In fact, when I went to university, no chat, GPT, nothing. You have to go to the library, sit there, etc. Today, sitting here, you can write a PhD thesis, almost. So knowledge is available to everybody. So knowledge is no longer going to be any differentiator, as long as you have connectivity. The difficulty is, we are busy accumulating knowledge, But making an application of that knowledge is where our struggle is happening. I'm talking more in the field of human potential. So for example, maybe I was told having good communication skill is very important. So I have the knowledge now. I can go to YouTube, I can watch so many videos. I can even impersonate how I should dress, how I should present, etc. I can pick up all that, the tips. But does it necessarily mean that I have become a good communicator? I may have improved it. So what is happening today, we are spending more focus on acquiring knowledge rather than integrating that knowledge. So the edge is going to happen with people, particularly when we are talking of leaders, who are going to spend more attention on becoming. Today in the corporate world we use this word, I think it's coming everywhere now. It was never there 30 years ago. Authenticity. Have you heard of this? Of course we also talk of integrity. Can you con people or project authenticity if you are not? You can do a bit of PR. You can do a good bit of press writing. You can get people, social influencers to influence. But if you don't have that authenticity, sooner or later people realize good marketing, good packaging, poor substance. You will not get that repeat order. You will not get that repeat election. One, you may win. So, the critical question now today is whatever I do, in whatever role that I play, can I become more authentic? And to become more authentic in a world which is currently focusing more on projection. Everyone's busy on their LinkedIn, Facebook, whatever, Instagram, projecting a lifestyle, projecting a success. It's also a tool. I'm not running it down. You have something good to say, you can talk about it. But I'm talking about over-projecting. So after a while, people begin to realize this person or this thing is not authentic. So whatever we do, we need to have this reflection capability. Is there a gap between what I'm projecting and what I am? And that is a very difficult thing to do. Because today, you and I have many friends, but you'll be very lucky to have 3 friends who can come and tell you, hello, brother, sister, there's a gap between what you say and what you do. There will be a lot of fellows who will give you thumbs up, like, heart, emoji, but not, you will be a very, I'm using the word, very blessed person. You can cultivate a friendship where someone can come and tell you what is your gap. Normally it will be your spouse or your children. And when they give you that feedback, normally we don't like it. But it's the most significant place to grow and develop. So marriage is a great place to learn this. But many of us will avoid that because it's another story. So as a leader, this is my question. How do I cultivate processes, friendships and feedbacks that will help me to see where my gap is? Those of you who drive, I don't know how many, when you drive, you look, before you start the car, you look in the mirror. And they teach you there's something called a blind spot. In that mirror, you can't see. So you have to turn physically and look at it. So in life, we all have a blind spot, which is the question I asked you earlier. Is there any quality in me that I don't like as a leader? I may know, I may not even know. But it's a blind spot. So for improvement to take place, if I don't know what that blind spot is, how will I improve? Am I making sense? So I'm just using happens to be a political example. But here is, Americans are very good at doing research, so that's why I have the data. It says, again, a very old data. 95% of American managers, leaders today say the right thing. Only 5% actually do it. Again, application around the world. Political leaders, etc., etc. Even parents. How many times I told you you shouldn't lie? But when the phone call comes, the boss is on the call, then you tell the wife, you tell the boss, I'm not at home, and the child are watching that. But you are telling the children you should not tell any long story. You are doing it yourself because gap. So now I don't know if you people are very young. Anybody remember this person? Yeah, so you remember what happened to him? Bill Clinton was the president, ex-president of. Now you have more colorful ones like Trump. This guy was not so colorful. But in his own time, he made major headlines. Does anybody remember why he made headlines? Sorry? Thank you. Okay. So I won't go into all of that. So, when Bill Clinton was a younger politician, there was another president called Richard Nixon. You remember? And he had a huge scandal, Watergate it was called. And there was a lot of pressure to impeach Richard Nixon. Impeach is the word for getting rid of him because he lied, he cheated, etc. So, in the Congress, Senate, whatever they call it, this young politician, Bill Clinton, stood up and made this statement against Richard Nixon. And it says, yes, the president, who's Nixon, should resign. He has lied to the American people time and time again and betrayed their trust. He is no longer an effective leader. Since he has admitted guilt, there is no reason to put the American people through an impeachment. He will serve absolutely no purpose in finishing out his term. The only possible solution is for the president to save dignity and resign. So this is a statement made by Bill Clinton commenting on Richard Nixon. The question is, when it came to Nixon, he was able to give advice. When his own difficulty case came up, was he able to follow his own advice? He did exactly what Nixon would have done, divert, etc., 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 to manage the situation. So I'm not criticizing any individual here, I'm just using it as an illustration. We are very good at pointing our torch on the weaknesses of others. It is very easy for me to see the weakness in him, but very difficult to see the weakness. But do you think people around me can see the weakness in me? Yes or no? Maybe, maybe not. So, this is the gap, the knowing being gap I would like you to reflect very carefully on. If you want to be a leader, we are all human beings, we are not perfect. This is not a training seminar on how to become a perfect individual. That even I don't qualify, so I can't. But am I aware there is a gap? There will always be a gap. Am I consciously working towards reducing that gap? Even 1% a day, 2% a day. As long as I'm working on that, I think evolution and growth will continue to take place. So, this is a summary of what I'm trying to say. Gap. We all have what we call it as the intention-action gap. My intention is I want to be a good leader. That is my intention. But my action shows, others say, this guy is not so. My intention is I want to be a great speaker. But the audience is saying, boring fellow, lousy fellow, talking rubbish. So there's a gap between my intention and the action. So that results in waste of potential energy. It doesn't get you anywhere. The second level of gap is action perception. So whatever action that I do, everybody will perceive it very differently. I have no control over your perception. But in that action perception gap, it creates a credibility gap. What is an action perception gap? Let's say our session is to start at 11 o'clock. I am the speaker. I turn up at 11:30 and then I come and give you a talk on credibility. What will you be doing? get some more coffee. Let's go and have a sandwich. Because what for you want to listen to a guy like that? You got my point? So am I aware, are my actions enhancing my credibility? And the actions are in the small things. One thing I learned very early in my career, if you want people to respect you, you have to respect yourself. Which means if I say X, I will do X. But we live a social life. Yes bro, tomorrow. Yes bro, tomorrow we'll come. Yeah, 11, 12. But yes bro doesn't come, 11 doesn't come. After 2 or 3 times they said, forget this fellow, don't even bother calling him, he won't return. Forget it. Not serious. So they created a credibility gap. So similarly, our leaders before election will give manifesto. We will do this, we will do this, we will do this. Then some of it can't get delivered. The next election comes and people say this guy singing the same old song, but last time also he didn't hear. Credibility gap arises. And the last one is perception expectation gap, which is where are those gaps? Not at only one level, 3 levels. And what am I doing to minimize and reduce that gap? I may never fulfill that gap in my life, because if I do, I may become an enlightened Buddha, which is also not far away in your land. Role model is here. It's possible. It's not impossible. But at least am I working towards reducing that gap? Okay? So now I come back to what I started with. Am I making sense so far? Off track? No, okay. You look very serious. You're not happy. Okay. This is a little bit of research. Normally I don't like to talk too much, but it supports my own personal experience. There's a beautiful book. It's called Built to Last. I think it's already a 20-year-old book. So they studied many organizations, different, and want to do a study. What makes an organization number 1 and what makes an organization number 2? Because the number 2 organization is also a good organization, but it's not the great. So what's the difference between? There's another book they did called Good to Great. That's another book. What's the difference between being good and being great? That's another part. But this research was earlier. Basically, the conclusion was that those built to last today, those days there was no word sustainability. Today, sustainability means can you last? So they found that if you really want to be sustainable, 2 critical ingredients are required. The vision, and secondly, is the values. This is what I started my conversation with. You need the vision and you need the values so that you can sustain your success. Now anything, there can be a short-term strategy, a medium-term strategy and a long-term strategy. So what I'm talking to you about today is not about short-term strategy, about medium-term strategy. You've come to the wrong place. If you want to know how to have success that is sustainable, then what I'm putting forward to you is that vision and values becomes very, very important. It is important to know what one is capable of. It is even more important to know what one is using one's capability for. So I can get trained, example, in political leadership. And I can have tremendous capability. I can use that capability to take the nation up, or I can use that capability to bring the people capabilities with me. Am I right? So we are all busy acquiring knowledge, skills. What are we using it for? That again determined by the question that we had earlier, what is the vision that I have? So maybe we'll skip all this. We are living in a world of paradox. Everything is a contradicting constraint. What is a paradox? There's sun in the morning and there's darkness at night. Both is the truth. It's cold in the morning, by 3 o'clock it will be 24 degrees, everything has to come off. It's all in the same day. So we are living in a very dynamic world. There is no single truth. It is very, very dynamic and contextual. So I as a leader, if I'm going to sell that there is only one truth, there is only one solution, and not understand that the context is changing, I'll become a leader who is always out of context. Today, if you look at many leaders, whether in organization or any, they get very stuck with their solution. But if you look at innovations around us, why are companies like Apple, etc., world leaders? Because they're always innovating. They're not saying my phone is the best. Even they say their phone is the best. 1 year later, 6 months later, a new car, a new something will come. So innovation can take place. So it's very easy to get stuck where you are. Okay. So now let's move a little bit more into a framework. So I asked earlier what this word excellence means to you. Correct? So what I'd like to do is a little more conversation for you. I'm going to pass out a few things here. Maybe you can take one between two of you, 2 or 3. Just look at it. Just see what is coming out of this. I'll collect that back, but for now, just have a look and play around with that and see what is coming out. Any shot? Anyone want? It's not a folding exercise. You can just explore what's going on. What is written there? What is the message for you? I don't need you to tell me what's written there. I know what's written there. But what does it mean to you? What sense can you make out of it? Okay. So I'd just like you to share whatever you think. What do you think this thing is talking about? What do you think? What is the message for you? What is coming across?
For leadership, we need to focus vision And then values.
That's more saying, telling me what's written there, which is fine, but I'm trying to see what it means to you. Any thoughts? What's coming up? What does it mean to you? What's coming up?
Yeah, I think me and my colleague here, how we saw it was how leadership is connected to everything in that triangle, as in the connection between vision, learning, excellence, and how these. So I think we talked about leadership and with vision and values. So how these are connected to the four triangles that we have. So we really just talked about the connectivity of what's going on around these things.
Very good. So thank you. I like that. So he's used the keyword connectivity. There's not one item, there's not two items, not three items. There are multiple things. And therefore the world that we live in, there's no one answer, there's no two answers. There are so many multiple diversities. As a leader, can I make the connectivity? Can I connect the dots and make a new meaning out of it? What does everything comes to you? Any insight thought?
Pyramid, where you can have the different skills of elevation.
Okay.
While sorry, gave us this, gave us to this, and I was thinking that why is it triangle kind of thing, and being engineer by profession, I love to play with this stuff. So what I found out is that maybe there may be a different motivation or different principle of making this, but what I find is if you focus on the vortex things, like there is excellence, there is vision, there is learning, and then values. So these are the key elements that will define it. So if you look at the vortex, I think that are the things that will make you excel on the things that, or maybe that's the crux of everything we are discussing today.
Looking at this, my focus was only on the focus. Because I'm not focused on
So our friend here is making connections between everything, but our friend here is looking at where is my weakness. Both is right. If you can see more of what he's seeing, and if he can see more of what you are seeing, we are already in a better position. Okay, any other observations anyone would like to share? Let me borrow. Yes, please.
After I tried to make an after we talked about the qualities of the leaders, and we can see here the values are matched, vision is matched, and learning is matched, and complete communication and clarity. We are just there is a dwelling of excellence. We try to reach towards the excellence. And if you go to the Africa, we are these without connectivity, we are in different directions. If we make a joint, then I think it will also getting a set. And on top of that, there is all excellence and all are connected, and I think it also goes towards the teamwork also. If all everything is connected, then we will try to reach towards excellence.
You can also borrow them. So thank you. Good observations. Good observations. We can spend one day talking about this. Not only talking about it, but as I said, becoming it, internalizing. But today we are just creating awareness. So just first step is, just for a little clarification, this is not a pyramid. Even our engineer called it pyramid. What? This is not a geometrically, this is not a pyramid. Why? Because a pyramid has 4 squares at the base. This base is not 4 square. So anybody knows what this geographic? I also failed my geography. Don't worry. Tetrahedron. Okay, so my friend done a bit of geometry. Tetrahedron. Anybody familiar? Tetra, three-sided. Now tetrahedron, very interesting for you in Nepal, is a structure which is considered earthquake resistance. Earthquake comes, not easy to topple over. So therefore symbolically this has been put as a tetrahedron because it is a solid framework, a solid structure. When the storm hits you, it may shake a little bit but may not. So tetrahedron is the shape. Also our friend rightly said, if you look at the top here, everything leads to excellence. So this is what I'm sharing with you, a model of excellence. It took us 20, 30 years, not in a lab, not in a research context, but working with people to come up with this framework that can help us as individuals to enhance the quality of whatever we are doing. So our end result, what we are aiming for is excellence. So whether it's an excellent father, student, business leader, NGO, organization, recipe is the same. Now, so if excellence is at the top and you put this on the table, you see three sides. There is one side that you can't see when it's sitting on the table. Any ideas what that side is? Wonderful, she said it. So there's something, the purple side, this purple side, which you can't see, is called, if you look in the middle, it is the leadership. So the leadership is fundamental and it is given. If the leadership is weak, this model of excellence is already a non-starter. So leadership becomes the fundamental. So if we go a little bit deeper now, if you look at the three keywords at the corner, vision, we spoke a bit earlier, values and learning. Learning, I didn't say too much, but what I was telling you is that there's no black, there's no white, context is changing. A good learner will be able to contextualize and see that things are changing, connect the dots, and therefore remain relevant. Now, if you see the bridge between learning and values is clarity. Learning allows me to have clarity on my values. If you look at the vision and values part, there is a need for alignment. The vision and values need to be aligned. And the learning gives me focus on my visions. Now why it's very important? Because there's so many things to learn today. No shortage. If I go and learn about everything, but it is not connected to my vision, is it any good to me as a leader? So if I am coming here on a Saturday morning, investing my time, listening to someone, I must be very clear why I am here. If I am not clear why I am here, you will walk away after 2 hours saying, okay la, nice, interesting fellow, don't know what he was talking about. Anyway, the coffee was good. But if I knew why I am attending this session today, I will every minute, every question that is thrown, I will know what to do with it. My learning will be of a higher intensity. So when all this is in place, the leadership remains stable and anchored. Am I making sense? So I'm only talking about this phase now. So again, I'm talking about the vision, value, alignment. Now you will see it's quite a colorful, nice to see, colorful thing. Am I right? Okay. Any other thoughts or questions, clarifications on this? Making sense? Okay. So now I will share something else with you. Maybe you can just take and pass on. Just say at least. spend a few minutes looking at that. Oh yeah, I'm okay. Okay, have something? Okay, thank you. So again, a little reflection. Something? What is coming across?
So my first thought after I received the second tetra
Eden
was contrast.
was
Contrast.
trust.
Yeah. So these are very different. Like all the words are very contrasting, even the colors. And then what hit me was we were just talking about the gaps that we have, right? And it's very easy to transition from this to this with the gaps, and the gaps made sense to me because especially for example if you're focused and then you don't have the other things, it's very easy to transition from this to this. So that was what I was thinking about. Obviously it's very easy to make out these things contrast, but then What stood out to me was the gaps.
Wonderful. Okay, good observation. Thank you. Others, any thoughts, ladies?
Quite
Confused. Okay. Perfect. Perfect. Anybody? Yes.
I think this is, friend said it's contrast. It is exactly opposite as what it is. So the black color also thinks that what we should not do, what we will, what is needed to excel and what will make you to be a mediocre. If training, maybe the blue and the colorful one is what you need to do, and the black and what you need to be aware of. I guess.
What I thought was like, there are two complete angles. Comparing to the both of it, what I felt like, this is the people of Nepal right now. And this is the what we want to develop Nepal. So this is the only thing that I followed. I have a discussion with him before, like, who are the followers? Because they are blindly following their leaders, and we not expect to be a leaders.
Anybody else?
This is exactly opposite to we were given previously, and it by looking at it, I can see that the distraction, ambiguity, and non-alignment it lead us to become a follower, not a leader, and and also conservative mindset sorts away from our values and will lead us to mediocrity, not the excellence. Thank you.
You have something. Yeah.
Just like opposite of that, in this, while you look around, if we do not have the values, the directions, everything, there is no. If we do opposite, we will reach towards the compromise of the values. To lead towards nowhere. That's the difference between. It's not only about the top, but what is built on the edges and everything. If you take the heartbeat as a unit, then I think that units makes the tops collections of the units. So every units are mediocre, so people research towards that.
I think that's also the two choices given to you every single day. These are the two choices given to us every single day. So where to go is.
Thank you. Good observation, Simon. Let me borrow this. So yeah. So one is a model of excellence, which is very colorful and bright. We should all be. This is a very dark, dull, depressing model. Model of mediocrity. We know the word mediocrity. So, and we spoke about gaps earlier. If I am not consciously working towards excellence, by default, I will move into mediocrity. Now, also as maybe Nirmal said, every day of the week I am not here. Some days I am more here, or in any given morning or afternoon. So the choice is, when I have a colorful approach and a not so excellent approach, am I working towards excellence? Consciously working towards excellence for my family, for my career, for my organization. By default, I will fall into. So that's the purpose and objective of these two models. Just keep it very clearly in mind. Of course, again, the enlightened fellow, if he's practicing that, then I'm not saying it's easy target, achievable target. All I'm saying is, can I consciously work towards that? Because otherwise, I will fall into this, and then progress and evolution and enhancement will not happen. So look around yourself. Again, as I said here, the base was leadership. Here, by default, it is followership. But there's nothing wrong with being a follower because there's time need to be. But in whatever I want to do, my career, my study, my PhD thesis, my NGO, my life, my career, am I working towards excellence? My nation. It's very easy to fall into the default mode. Am I making sense? So just keep the colorful on one side and just keep this at the back of your mind. As a leader, am I consciously working towards excellence? Am I helping, empowering individuals, society around me towards excellence? What does that mean? In the small things. If everybody is throwing a cigarette on the floor, then it's acceptable. I also throw. Am I contributing towards excellence? Systems devolve. So if the meeting is at 11 or 11:15 or whatever, if I turn up on time, it's not a big deal about excellence per se. Slowly over a period of time, people start coming. I'm using the example of a time as a standard to be achieved. You want this nation to be improve, your organization to improve. Then it's the small things that we do that will help us to move towards that level of excellence. Am I making sense? So, it's not a question of am I here or am I there. We will all fluctuate. We are humans, our energy fluctuates. We also get confused. Ambiguity comes in. So therefore this framework is there with you. Is it making sense? So just keep it at the back of your mind. Any other questions? Anything on what we have said so far? Is your confusion still there? Little less. Confusion is a good place to be because no confusion, then there's no learning. Confusion is a great place to start. So keep that in your mind. It's just a framework. It's not a solution to everything. So this is the excellence we are aiming for. These are some of the ingredients we've been looking at. And this is the shadow. We as human beings have the bright side and the dark side. In the absence of that, we are moving towards mediocrity. Now, very, very quickly, I just want to show you the actual tangible output of what happens when excellence is low in an organizational context. These are the implications and the outcomes you will have in any organization. At the end of the day, you will be unable to live up to the true potential of your organization, of your nation. You will end up doing lot of fragmented efforts. You will have policy, SOPs, principles, procedures, hundreds of principles for everything, but they're not bringing people together. You see people ending up working in silos. They're not working towards that excellence. If that ingredient that we spoke about, vision, implication, if the vision is low, that means it's a lack of a cause that binds the organization's efforts. Now in every organization these days it's very fashionable to have a vision statement. They put it in the annual report, they put it in the lobby, but it remains there. It is not a driving force, it does not empower people. It's not what we were talking earlier. Vision is not something that you should be selling as a leader. People should be able to buy it. Vision is what will bring people together, closer together. So again, if that vision is not there, then you will have a lack of planned investment on how the organization or the nation should grow. Lack of collective direction. So on the outcomes will be poor resource allocation, loss of growth opportunities, people pulling in different directions, the energy is getting wasted. So it doesn't matter, if you don't get everyone together, you will not be able to reach the top of Mount Everest. Although a lot of effort, money, resources would have been put into it, you can't achieve. When the values are low, You have a lack of common guiding principles, lack of commitment to the organization. So, outcomes, frequent conflict. We compromise on our standards. It becomes a very weak organizational culture. Therefore, again, the organization will not be able to sustain and last its effort. So these are some implications that we will observe in an organizational context when some of these factors are low. There are much more, but I'm just touching on these three ingredients. Is that making sense? Is there a time anybody needs a 5-minute toilet break? Any break? Is there a time to stop, or we will carry on? Or I say carry on? Sure, nobody sleeping? See, I'm spending a lot of time speaking on this word vision because I've really observed it's something we don't give due attention to. Oops, we can't quite see that. Is here, and all the negativity is here. And I'm standing in the halfway point, and I'm saying I'm a good person. I don't lie, I don't cheat, I'm a good person. But I'm living in a world where gravitational forces are pulling me. This is all the goodness and this is all the negativity of the world. Today, what is your observation? Is there more negative energy in the world or more positive energy in the world? What do you observe? Difficult question. What do you think when you read newspapers, when you see examples, role models, what do you see?
Negative.
So the energy of negativity that around us today is much, much greater, stronger. Gravitational pull from this side is stronger than this side. But if I remain in this central point and say, I'm a good person, the gravitational energy will pull me closer to
The negative one.
Now to maintain this central position, I have to consciously work towards the goodness. And even if I'm walking towards the goodness, because negativity is stronger, I will then only end up in the middle point. So being good is not good enough. You have to consciously work towards that model of excellence. Because if you're not walking consciously towards that excellence, by default you will get gravitational pull will pull you. So whether it's your organization, whether it's your family, whether it's your career, that's the example. Is it making sense? Now the third is the vision with values. That's where evolution comes. So very simple example is that those of you who know a little bit of rowing, when you go rowing, you need two oars. One is vision, one is values. If you only use vision, the boat will go down. If you only use values, to move forward, if the vision and values are aligned, the boat will move smoothly. So in moving forward in your career, in your organization, as a leader, that clarity of vision and the values is required so that you can move smoothly forward. So these fundamental questions remain very, very important. So where to go? That sounds more interesting. Vision. Thank you.
That's the one.
Now, I want to summarize my own observations about this. Very powerful research again done on something called the power of vision by a person called Joel Barker. It's an old story. Old for you means if anything is over 20 years old, means it's quite old. So he did a lot of research. What is the role of visions in a country, in a nation's success, in an organization's success, and in an individual success? So he did that research. And he conclusively found that for an organization to succeed, a prerequisite is a critical ingredient is the vision. So he studied Roman Empire, many empires that came and went. Vision is a critical focus. When he looked at corporate organizations, he found again it was vision that makes a significant difference. Now again, when I use the word vision, I don't mean the statement that you put on the wall. It is something that you have to co-create in your organization. So if you have an organization like Concern, everybody must know what this organization stands for, what it's trying to aspire. In the absence of that, you got the boat, but the vision is weak. Then he did a very interesting study in a very school in a very difficult area in New York, in Harlem. Very poor resources, high crime rate, very difficult. Basically, kids who came out would only become gangsters, drug addicts, murderers. That was their future. But he found a school, and they did a social experiment where somebody sponsored and funded to give children in that very difficult context a very strong understanding of their vision. And they found that those children who came from very socially deprived backgrounds, simply because of the vision, they were able to overcome all the negative difficulties that they had faced. So you may be the poorest country in the world, don't have enough resources, but your people have vision. You as a leader have given vision, your people will come up. You're a head of an organization, you are talking of that vision, living that vision, that organization can come. You want to build a nation, then you are talking of your vision. It helps the organization, the nation to come up. So I've spent around 30 years of my last so many years, we were talking earlier, in a country called Singapore, which around 40-50 years was like any other developing country. No resources, no water, no agriculture, no resources, oil, gas, uranium, nothing. Not even water to drink. Today it is considered a first world country. It only had people. Leader was very clear. We only have people, we have to focus all our energy on building our people and give them very clear purpose of what we want to achieve. Within 30-40 years, under my own eyes, I have seen that country on many social indicators, economic indicators, grow. 300 kilometers away, another country, Malaysia, also had a very strong leader, also very smart. Although he was a medical doctor, not an educationist, he realized vision is important. So he created a thing, Vision 2020, which was 30 years earlier. Many Malaysians may not have known what the vision is, but you stop any guy on the motorcycle and say, he say, yes, Vision 2020, there's one. They may not be very, but they know something is going and generally we will support it. The values of each leader were very, very different. Political differences, which is why the two countries split. One had one political ideology, had another political ideology. I am not here to comment on which ideology is better. But the result shows one has become a developed nation, the other has also come up, but there's a significant gap. And the second country has a lot of resources, minerals, number 2 palm oil, gas, many more advanced. In fact, Malaysia processes water, drinking water, and sells to Singapore. Singapore doesn't even have the drinking water originally. Yet one country on all economic, social indicators is here, one is simply lacking the vision. I was born in a country called Pakistan. When I was born, economically Pakistan on all indicators was way ahead Malaysia and Singapore. 1 rupee used to get you 16 Malaysian ringgit. Today 1 ringgit gives you 62 Pakistani rupees. 40 years ago, Pakistan had dams, rivers, electricity, highways, technology. Malaysia had houses with tin roofs. They had high-rise buildings, they had what we call country houses. Today, in front of my eyes, the economies have gone like this. One country focused on vision, the other country totally lost its vision. Leaders came, leaders went, leaders come, go to jail, come out of jail, next fellow. And that's the history of most developing countries, going round and round and round in circle, because in the absence of a vision. Because what happened? Feudal societies. So people are supporting feudal parties, feudal families. So again, I'm only not making any comment, I'm just making an observation here. How significant vision has been. In my own experience in working with students, with individuals who are young entrepreneurs, come from average backgrounds, no access to millions, those who had significant vision are today doing important things. So what I'm harping on, almost like a grandfather who keeps repeating the same story, which young people don't like. Please invest a little bit of your own time in your own self. You may not get the answer tonight, but invest in this question. What is my vision? Please, vision is not a destination. Having a big house is not a vision. Having a car is not a vision. These are outcomes of your vision. If you are successful and the world recognizes you, by sure you can have a good house, you can have a good family, you can have all that whatever you like. But those are milestones towards a vision. Those are not, having a great career is not a vision. What are you going to do with that career? I want to be an entrepreneur. Okay. What are you leaving behind? So that is the aspect of the vision. So having that vision will be the turbocharged engine that we need to take you into the next level. That's the point I'm trying to overemphasize. So if there's any homework, I don't give homework, nobody to check. Question, investment in yourself is never too late. I have met CEOs who have led companies for 30, 40 years. Chairmen of companies who become very successful. They heard it and said, oh my God, how did I get here? I never had a vision. If I had one, I could have been 100, a factor to the 100. That's all I'm saying. So you are starting at the early stage of your development. This question becomes fundamental. And you may have small nephews, nieces around you who are small. Asking the question is more important than getting the answer. Young man, young girl, what is your vision for the future? Asking that question stimulates their thinking process. They may say, today I want to be a postman, tomorrow I want to be a policeman, tomorrow I want to be a doctor. That's okay. Let them change every 6 months. That is the age to change, no problem. But engaging is the important part. Okay? So, I am overemphasizing this point, but it's something to rethink about. This is summarizing what I've said. So, vision, a profound and positive vision of the future. Again, I was talking to our friends yesterday. Ironically, you also here in your concern have a magnifying glass. So the explanation I was giving, the sun is very, very powerful, has a lot of energy. But only when you put a magnifying glass, when we were young, put it with a piece of paper, paper will burn. A new energy is born. But where was the potential source of that energy? The sun. But could the sun create that fire? No. So the magnifying glass allows a single focal point to be created, so a new energy can be born. So symbolically, that magnifying glass is that vision that allows you to focus. Each one of you have significant potential, significant energy. When you converge it to a single focal point, new energy, new innovation, enhancement, betterment, progress takes place. So that's the reason why. Any question so far? Talking too much, I came here to listen. How are we doing for time? We are done. Which means we have another 20 minutes. Okay, but 20 minutes is not a problem. Okay. Okay? There's a very powerful book, those who like to read. Nowadays everything is online. This book is even free, PDF free. No need to buy, don't waste money. The book is called
Man search for
right?
Yes.
Just say Man Search for Meaning. Our friend has read. Why don't you? Why is it an important book?
It was the time of Nazis' time. There was a doctor, and that was the time of pessimistic. He was in the concentration camp, and he was thought that he was supposed to be born in the concentration camp. But his mindsets and his thinking about the future, hope, and positive thinkings, and made him able to survive. And later he survived too. And then he not only survived himself but also contributes or help others to save. And it was a time of all the darkness, and there was no any such possibility. You can easily see that he was going to die. But even at that time also he was very positive and pessimist and looking towards the future. I think that's more inspirational, and it is one of my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So that book also had a significant impact on me. Many lessons are there. When you have time, read it. It's a very difficult book. It's a very depressing book, but there's a lot of lessons. So one of the things is, even he says every morning you will die of starvation and hunger because of the hard labor you are being used as slave labor, and they don't feed you enough. So either you will die working, or they will put you in the gas chamber. He was a professor of psychology. His name is taken, his rank is taken. He sees his mother, his father, his wife, his brother, everybody killed in front of him, and he sees every day people dying. And some people know, so they don't wait for the dying. They say, what for? I might as well finish myself. So in that very difficult time, he's busy studying and thinking and researching. And he developed a therapy called logotherapy. You've all heard of psychiatry. When we have difficulty, and today we talk a lot about mental health after COVID. So traditional psychiatry teaches you that we may have had some trauma in our youth, some difficulty, and that trauma has affected our personality and therefore our potential. So traditional psychiatry helps us to go back to our youth, childhood, come to terms with that difficult period, clear it so that we can move forward, which is still considered a mainstream part of mental health and psychiatry. But he introduced something called logotherapy. Logo means coming from purpose, logos. His philosophy was, give somebody a purpose, give somebody a vision. He or she starts moving towards that vision and putting all that energy on achieving that vision. All that baggage of childhood and history gets minimized and marginalized. So no point opening the suitcase which is very old. Anybody in this room has not had difficulty in their growing up years. Everybody has a baggage. Everybody has a story. But we can keep on trying to understand that story, which is one way. But his belief was, give the purpose. Again, I'm correlating to the vision. You as a father, you as a leader, as a business person, as a political leader, if you give that vision a direction to its people, they will move in a positive direction, or they will spend their entire life, government will give subsidy, government will give free rice, government will give us food, and government will become subsidy mentality. So, anyway, that's something we need privately you can do. Okay. So, I leave this with you. Again, as I said, to make a good vision, it should have certain components. So, what are the certain components? Now I'm talking of a personal vision. It should be something personal that you are passionate about. It should have the capacity to use your full capacity. Something that stretches you, something that is not achievable. Climbing Mount Everest is not necessarily achievable for me, but it's of an aspirational nature. So it should stretch you. Something that expands, enables you to determine the direction of your movement. Something that gives you high energy, that allows you to wake up every morning full of enthusiasm and not, where's my coffee? Because if I don't have my coffee, the day can't start. Therefore, my vision is not there. Something larger than self, which is what I said. What is larger than self? Not my career,